Call the meeting to order of the Finance and Personnel, May 21st. Roll call, please, Aaron.
Amy Johnson. Here. Lee Dashlet.
Here.
Casey Boer.
Here.
Wayne Schmidt.
Here.
Midge Swedberg.
Here.
Scott Meverden.
Here.
John Ortlieb.
Here.
And Kevin Schmidt will not be in attendance tonight.
Can you verify that we're in compliance with the open meetings law?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Has everyone, can I get a motion to approve or changes to the order of the agenda, please?
Motion to approve agenda as listed.
Motion by Casey,
Second.
second by Midge. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. If everyone had a chance to look at the April 16th meeting minutes, and if there are no questions, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Midge,
Second.
second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And if everyone had a chance to look at the bills? Any questions?
I'll move approval of
Motion by Amy,
Second.
second by Casey. Roll call, Aaron?
Meverden.
Yes.
Dashlet.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt.
Yes.
Boer.
Yes.
Ortlieb.
Yes.
Swedberg.
Yes.
And it looks like we had a conference attendance for Chief.
Yes, this would be for Chief Tom Ackerman to attend the Wisconsin Fire Chiefs Conference in Wisconsin Dells from July 20th to the 23rd of this year.
June.
I'm sorry, June, I apologize.
No, he'll probably still be there in July. But
If he can afford to stay that long, he might be.
And you need a motion to approve this,
Yes,
correct?
we're looking for a motion to approve.
So move.
Moved by Lee,
Now second.
second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there anyone here for public comment tonight? I don't see anybody moving for public comment. One last time for public comment. Seeing none, we'll move on. I see no old business and a lot of new business. The first one is for the building electrical inspection fee increase. Matt?
Yes, so this comes from our building inspector, Brett Gillett. Currently for electrical inspection, it is $50. He is asking us to change our fee schedule. He would like to raise our fee, or the fee, from $50 to $75. So he will be, per his contract, he can raise his fee. We have to go through this process, recommendation to change our fee schedule to that $75 to match what he's asking for. So this would be for any electrical inspection. So on a brand new house, you have a plumbing, electrical, foundation, and then by the square foot. Some people just get, like they're changing their service. That would be just electrical fee of that. Now $50, it would go to $75.
for his contract, what does the city get?
10%. So,
Okay.
And he gets the rest?
and he gets the rest.
Now, what do other cities charge? Matt?
What do other cities charge?
Yeah, are we in a, I guess, are we in a ballpark at 75, or are we getting on the expensive side, or what?
Probably low.
I would say we're probably on the low side. But we
Okay.
usually take his recommendations because a lot of what he covers surrounds us and everything up into Door County, and these are the fees that he uses up there as well.
Well, I'm not surprised in Door County, but, yeah.
We actually use his fees, so his fees in Door County are what we currently have in our fee schedule. So, yeah,
Okay, you need a motion?
we'd ask for a motion to
Just-
change our fee schedule to match that $75.
I'll make a motion that we adjust the electrical inspection fee to $75 per the request of the inspector.
I'll second it.
Motion by Wayne, second by Lee, and a roll call.
Ortlieb.
Yeah.
Swedberg,
Yes.
Boer,
Yes.
Dashlet,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Meverden.
Yes.
The second would be for the EMS collection services agreement. Would that be you again, Matt?
So yes, Rory's not able to be, so me and him went kind of through the cliff notes of this. This has gone across our corp counsel's desk as well. We currently work with Finance Systems of Green Bay. They are our debt collector for rescue. So we send a bill, people that don't have insurance. Finance Systems works directly with them to collect those fees. After reviewing it all, there's a lot of people that are making the change to go to EMSMC, which is who we currently work with that does all of our coding and sending out the bills. Really what the change is looking to go in-house, in the same house. Instead of working with two different companies, we'd be working directly with under the same roof for our billing and also our debt collection. So right now with Finance Systems, we currently have about almost $70,000 on the books for debt collection. So there's something out there that, that they do they're a little harder on it. Algoma's looking to change, Kiwani has already changed, and everybody in Door County has gone with them, and I guess they're having better success.
So the proposal's for Lifeline instead
That
of...
is correct. So we'd be looking for a motion to change that, and then this would come back to the full council for adoption, and then we would look to move from Finance Systems to Lifeline.
You would use both for a while, correct? Or would you completely
When is
change?
this effective?
It would become effective, I think, in July 1.
And do all of the old ones get transferred?
All the
Or
old
they
would be,
stay-
they would be all transferred from Finance Systems of Green Bay to the new collection service.
That kind of money, what kind of time frame are we talking about, Matt? How far back do these go for collection?
Oh, Aaron, you might be better to answer that. There could be some that are on the books that are maybe making $4 a month payments.
Yeah.
I know in the past, we've already brought to the council or we've written off, people that have passed or, issues that we've asked the council, they owe $3,800 and we've just written it off, for whatever the issue would be. Some of it could go back 7, 8, 9 years. They could be making, when they collect a little bit of it from Financial Systems, we get a portion of that. So,
What is the breakdown on it?
what Finance Systems of what we get versus what they collect?
Yes.
So 33 to 50%.
There you go.
What are we getting in deposits from Finance Systems of Green Bay every month? I mean, are we lucky if we get a deposit a month from
Well,
them?
there's
And
so
if
much
we
we don't
are,
see anything.
it's not anything more
much.
than like $200,
Yeah.
$265. But I mean, maybe every other month are we getting something from them?
And is the percentage the same on the new company?
No,
No.
the rates are better actually, the new company.
No, you didn't say that.
20%. So, yeah, and anything under $50 is 50.
Page
That's where it
26.
goes 33 to 50%. Yeah, it is a better deal.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve moving forward.
I'll second.
Motion by Scott, seconded by John. And a roll call.
Dashlet,
Yes. Yes.
Ortlieb,
Yes.
Boer,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Swedberg,
Yes.
Meverden.
Yes.
The next is for a phone and email upgrade. Matt again?
Yes, so this is from FTS, everybody. I don't know if you had a chance to look at the code, but this would be changing the city's phone service, citywide. So City Hall, Police Department, Fire Department, Street Shop, Marina, Youth Club. Did I get them all?
Public Works?
Library, yeah, Street Shop, Public
Oh,
Works.
sorry.
Sewer plant would not. We would not do any changes at the wastewater facility. And this would bring us up to date. It would actually bring us, it'd be voice over IP. So instead of having hard data lines, we'd be actually working off, the phone system would be working off the internet. We would be able to interdial, so transfer from City Hall to the police department, City Hall to, well, the police department we can now on one phone line.
One phone line, yeah.
We would be able to transfer to the marina, to any of our other departments, and they would be able to transfer here. This would give us voice over IP. We would be able to transfer our phone calls, say to, somebody wanted to talk to Matt Murphy, we could transfer it to my cell phone, and it would ring to my cell phone. That's kind of the phone line. Right now, we currently pay AT&T, who we're with, two things. We do have a contract. I think the buyout of our AT&T contract is around $2,000, $1,800 to $2,000. Our current phone bill with AT&T, we pay about $670, $665. This would go down. Our phone bill with the voice over IP would be $165 a month. So there's about a $500 savings every month in our phone bill. And probably, we think it's special here, we would actually have caller ID at City Hall. I know it just came around. We'd be pretty advanced to be able to tell who's calling here.
Less than a 2-year payback.
If you look at it that way, it's just under $10,000 to switch everybody over. Adding in the $2,000 to get out of our AT&T contract would be just over 2 years to pay
And
that.
that's all new equipment, all new phones?
That would be all new equipment as well.
Mr. Mayor, did we get any quotes from anybody else?
We did not get any quotes from anybody else.
Doesn't Quantum do the same thing?
We've done a little bit of work from Quantum, but we did not get a price from Quantum for this service.
The only reason I say is they are a business in Algoma, and I feel that we should at least get a quote from them.
Okay?
I think it's only right, you know, they are a business here, and we try to promote their city, so if there's somebody else there, at least get a quote.
Okay.
See how it's comparable.
Are we gonna need to upgrade internet to handle it?
Not upgrade our internet, but part of this, or I guess it's in two parts. It's listed on the agenda as one part, but the second part of it is, and I'm gonna let Jamie talk a little bit, or Aaron talk a little bit to it, I apologize, because they're a lot more up to date with changing our email over. But Aaron, if you wanna talk to that as well.
Sure. So one of the things that we've been talking about since I've been here is how outdated our email service is. I know that's a big ask, is can we all get on the same calendar? Can we share things? Can we view it? And while we had Mr. Hoffman in here giving us the quote from FTS, we said, can you tell us what it's going to be like to upgrade the email service? Right now, I believe our email service is 2013. So we're quite outdated there. And the next part of it is we are required within the next probably 2 to 3 years to upgrade to the .gov email addresses. So at some point or another, this is going to come back before you, whether we do it all in one bundle with FTS or we piecemeal it out. You know, it's kind of up to you guys how the money wants to be spent. But yeah, it's basically just looking to upgrade from 2013. I mean, we're sitting at 2024 today, so.
So that's the same thing that could be checked with Quantum also?
That could as well, yes.
The $165 a month for the phones versus $600. Is there additional savings on the web service as well then, or is that the same?
The actual web service compared to what we have would actually be, I think, higher, correct? Because of the amount of emails addresses that we need.
You pay so much for a license.
It's
Yep.
licensing is where it comes down to.
Well, I know, yeah, looking through there, getting to 365, I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea, but that's a big chunk of change. So the annual, if I'm reading it correctly, all of these quantities say yearly. It's a little bit confusing.
If you look at what the biggest chunk of change is in the email one, it's labor. So, is it gonna take that long? I don't know. I don't know that Ryan knows. You have to think all of our stuff has to be backed up. Everything has to be transferred over. It's all a record. That's the biggest bulk of what the price of your email quote is.
But just point of clarification is
Yep.
all of those quantities with the yearlies, all of those dollar amounts would be an annual expense.
That is correct.
Correct.
Yes.
And
The labor
compared-
would come off of there, but then everything else is
Yeah.
yearly, every year, we would have an expense to it.
And how does that compare to where we are today?
We don't pay it.
We do. We pay Hostway X
What's
amount
that price, right?
per month.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more. It's significantly more. It's more than double.
AT&T, do you just get a pipe, or are you using it at a flat rate and it stays there for the year, a yearly contract? Like I
For
know ours
phone?
Gone up 3 times already since the first of the year.
For
For
phone,
internet.
we have a contract, so it's the same every year.
Well, for the internet.
For the internet, we have charter for internet.
Oh,
So your 2-year payback just went to 3.5, 4 when you put the upcharge on there. It's
With
about
the
one-
emails.
$2,700 a year annually for the email charge, so.
Yep.
But I mean, these are two but yeah.
They both go kind of hand in
Sure.
hand, but if you're gonna save $500 a month,
Yeah.
but you're gonna spend $200 more.
Correct.
But it's still a net $300 savings.
Yeah.
But you're ending up with a lot more service
Correct.
for that
Right.
same money.
And a lot better service.
Correct.
Just
Yep,
justifying the
no, I get it.
Updated.
payoff.
Yep.
Updated service.
Yep.
Yep. So
Where does the money come from?
Well,
Aaron's got it.
Treasure.
it would come out of the capital outlay. Both of these upgrades would be capital outlay upgrades to City Hall.
Was that budgeted for this year?
Is not budgeted.
So we're gonna have to transfer some money in capital outlay to pay for it.
That is correct.
I still wouldn't like us to get another quote, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, that's what I figure. We'll leave it open for the quote.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you need a motion to table it?
No,
When is,
we can just go to get another quote and bring it back.
Okay, thank you.
None of this is like we have to have this done in a month. It's
It's kinda
something
like
that
like the camera we're
we've
on.
been pushing off, and it should have been dealt with probably 10 years ago.
Well, I know the phone system stinks.
Yeah, so,
It has for the last 10 years.
mhm.
It's the same phones, I think. We got different phones when the county pulled out.
I think
And we took their phones
we got
upstairs.
the emergency management phones when they left here.
And we went away from the dial and we now had push button,
Yeah.
which was really nice.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how many people call and leave voicemails,
Yeah,
and you have no idea who they are because everybody assumes that you have caller ID.
right.
So that is kind of a big issue. And then why didn't you call me back? Well, you didn't leave your number.
and that way Matt knows who's calling when they start yelling at him.
I mean, it would be really nice to know, like, Wayne Schmidt's calling, let's just,
Then he wouldn't answer.
we're busy.
Yeah. And then you try to leave a message and they still have Jeff Wiswall on the voice.
be like we were talking before, Casey. This is Daisy calling. I live across from Rita Rittenbacher's house. Can you call me back?
Okay.
All right, yeah. No,
Did you
Action.
kind of touch on the software
Nope.
enough, or do you
Nope,
want to?
that's-
It's different.
Yep, that's gonna be different.
We'll let you handle that. Municipal software review.
Okay, so phones, emails, now we'll talk software. The software program that we are running on now for payroll, accounting, cash receipting, invoicing, things like that, is, it's called Vision Municipal Solutions. It is from a company that's based in the state of Washington. It was implemented in 2013 when your last treasurer came to work here. She was familiar with it because she worked in the state of Washington for many years before coming here. Neither of us have worked in the state of Washington, so there's a lot of quirks to the system that don't align with what we do. Does it work for our needs? For the most part, there are a lot of issues, and it's kind of outlined in the memo that we gave to you, of things that kind of are shortfalls and cause problems for us when we're trying to do our work. It's also got a fairly significant annual service contract. So we've explored the option of at least one system so far. There's obviously a purchase price to the software, but then the annual fee is about half of what we're paying now. Before we go any further into checking with other softwares or things like that. We wanna know if there's even any interest in spending the money on making an upgrade. I don't know, questions?
Is this a outlay item?
It would have to be.
And we
It's
don't
not
have-
budgeted, no.
We're not budgeted for that.
We would have to look to budget it.
And how much are we talking about here,
Well, it's 20 to
35,000 according to this.
Yeah.
But at 3 to 4,000 a year instead of 7,400. I would say the same as the other ones, in my opinion. Yeah, definitely, we need it, explore it, but get some quotes.
We have gotten the other ones on it, just in talking with the other systems. They're gonna come in on closer to that $35,000 range for a lot of bells and whistles. A lot of them we don't need.
Does
This is something that I think we would kind of like to jump on, but, you know, not wait until, okay, let's look at it the next year and then the next year, just because you think of like your month end, your year end, you know, if you don't want to be implementing a new software system in March. So it's kind of one of those things where there'd be a lot of data to migrate over, a lot of setup that would have to be done on our end and the new software companies, and no matter which company we go with.
How does that tie into the other email/phone? Is it totally separate? Can you
Yep.
do one and not the other?
Yeah, they're all three of them, email, phone, and this software are all three separate. Just because you would do new phones doesn't mean you have to do new emails. Just because you do new software doesn't mean you have to do new phones. It's, all three of them are separate purchases.
So if I was gonna ask you to prioritize the 3 items you talked about today, is this the number 1?
I think it depends who you ask.
I think so too.
Jamie, I'm asking you.
I mean, the phones ring.
Well, I guess because if I look at all 3,
Nothing is broken.
but I look
everything
at capital
works, but-
outlay, so we're gonna have to
Right.
transfer some money around to cover this. So what am I giving up over here to get this? If I can't do all 3, is this the most important thing I should look at, is my question.
Is it gonna be beneficial for you?
It would
In the
definitely
long
be
run.
beneficial for both of us. I was not here, obviously, at the close of 2023. Aaron's got a lot of issues that they ran into, and aside from the annual fee for the support, there were a lot of expenses just to get through year end. Our auditors needed to help with creating
The
reports
utilities
just to
needed to
get
help
things
with.
done.
If I was gonna prioritize it right off the top of my head, I would say let's go with the software, phones, email. But I guess if you'd ask Matt, Matt would probably prioritize it, phones, email, software. It's based
Well,
off of what you use.
But if you get all 3, let's just say we can't afford all 3, because we're gonna have to take something away to cover that in outlay. That's what I'm looking at. If this is the most important, then you have to tell me, where am I getting the 35,000 from in capital outlay to cover this? What am I giving up? Am
And
I
that's
giving up the
something that I
street?
think we have to look at to
Right.
say, this is, I think once we get some hard numbers for all 3 of them, I think that's when then we sit down and say, okay, we can do this, this, and this, or we can only do this and this, or we can
Okay.
only do this.
I'm fine with that, because
And
at
that's,
least,
you
If you can give us a view of what that looks like,
Correct.
where it comes
If-
from.
If you wanna do all 3, then we're gonna give up this. If
Yeah.
maybe we don't have to. Maybe we have to give up just one of them,
Right.
to get one of them. I think, and that's the discussion we wanted to have is, our software, our phones, our email, they all work, okay? At what point are we gonna have to go to a .gov address? It's coming down the pipeline. It's not here today, it's not here tomorrow. Our phones ring, we can answer and we can make outgoing calls. So I think maybe we should take a little different approach at it and say, if we do this, this, and this, we don't have to give up anything, or we do have to give up
Right.
this.
I feel comfortable with that. At least we know
So-
exactly where
Right.
it's
Is there,
coming from.
is there a timing on the software? I could see that you don't wanna do this in the middle of year end, to change your software. So what is the best
Or
time,
do you?
Jamie, to actually change the software? Makes it easiest on the staff to input and do all the new software upgrades and everything that you need to do to get it done.
Well, while year end is busy, I think year end is the best time to do it because you're starting then the new year fresh in a brand new system.
That's what I would think. So there's a timing issue
Yeah.
here that doesn't happen with the other 2 items, that
Right.
either do it now or you wait a year to do it.
Yeah.
And that makes most sense. Now, have we talked to our auditors about what they would recommend?
We
And
did
talk
talk
to
to
us?
them before we even started talking to other municipal software companies, and they said, you're really gonna like A, and you're really gonna like B, and we integrate with both of them, so they're very excited for us to make this change. The other thing you wanna look at too is you don't wanna be paying, let's just say Vision, for 2 months out of the year, and company B for 10 months out of the year, and now we get to year end, and we still have to go back to Vision and say, hey, I need you to get all these reports for me, we gotta migrate this over. You know, you could run into problems with that.
But we could wait a month.
Is it,
Yes,
We
but
could.
we also wanna make sure that we get on either company A or company B's docket. It's not like I can call them up in November and say, I wanna start January 1st. Like that
Sounds
that
like
is
it's
a,
few months.
yeah.
We, if we're gonna make a change at December 31st, we wanna be on somebody's books,
Right.
you know, so that.
By August.
Yeah,
But I'm saying, it gives you a month to come back.
Oh,
with-
yeah, absolutely.
for sure.
So,
But we don't wanna be making the decision in November.
No,
Oh,
no, no.
because they're gonna say.
I agree.
Well, we'll work with you in June to
Yeah.
switch you over, we're already booked, I mean, they don't just gather 40 more employees because they, you know, are changing the software for 3 different more municipalities, they
Yep.
just push you down the line.
if that's one of the higher priorities, I would recommend, yeah, move forward and gather more intel, and then hopefully we can make a final decision by maybe June, July, to get on somebody's books, right?
If the software is sensitive to December, would it make sense then for you to start looking at the phones first? Look at that, view what it looks like, to where that money comes from, and take them in order that way by date? Like, how would it look if you changed the phones next month and the software in December, all in the same year?
Well, I think there's a couple things we can look at, right? If we're gonna change the software, how much do we have to pay them on the front end, and how much can we pay them in 2025?
Okay.
Right? The phone system, I think it says in just this quote that you have in front of you, I think, what does he want, 75% upfront? Well, that would be something that would all be expended this year. The same thing with the email. So, at least the hardware costs, the software actually, that's ongoing, you know, that would always carry on.
I thought it was 30%.
It is 30 on phones, it looks like, but I
Maybe
thought
that was the
70.
email.
Yeah,
It
I
was
thought
30% up front and
It personally told us like
70%
75% down.
Once we get on the same.
So they're all 30, Scott, I didn't catch that part. I didn't see, I don't remember reading it, but.
Sitting here when we went through this all with him, he
He said
said 75% down, because I
But it
was
does say
a little taken back by it. I'm like, we're a municipality that you bill us every month, and you want, it'd be different if it was just some.
Yeah,
Yeah, he needs that to buy the equipment.
Right, you gotta
Well,
buy
I
the
understand the
equipment.
equipment price that, you know, to front
It's gotta
that.
be the.
Well, let's,
so would you want a motion to proceed with all three, to explore all three of them, or
Just
just,
a- nope.
just software?
Just
Or
a general,
nothing?
like, keep going on the path that you're going, I
Yeah,
guess. I
we're
don't need
not
a
buying
motion
anything
for it.
today.
Okay.
I think what our conversation is a good open door to bring back more prices and continue to look at the software side of things that, and then we start to look at prioritizing and where that funding comes from.
Perfect. Any more discussion? Seeing none?
Who's this software? It doesn't really state in here, the one that you guys are looking at, is that?
The one that we've looked at so far, and we did sit through one demo with them, is a Wisconsin-based company that only services Wisconsin municipalities, and they have like 300 customers in Wisconsin right now. So it is on the lower end of,
Local? I mean, are they?
based in
Wausau.
Wausau.
is
Okay.
it through the league? It's not through the league, is it?
No, but they're at all the league,
They're at all the conferences.
all the
Conferences.
conferences.
Well,
They
we'll
do
check
3,
it out this year. Where's that
conferences every year. So.
I guess the only other question I would have regarding the phone, email, and the software is, have we looked into is there any outside funding to help municipalities with upgrading? Seems like they're giving away tax dollars left and right every other day. I mean, for other stuff, is there outside funding, grants available that we could?
Communications, I don't know.
Did we just get something from the chamber toward that end? Was that what she just sent over?
No, but it was something kind of a one-off
Yeah,
type deal.
I couldn't remember, okay, sorry.
I was just curious if we've looked into any additional funding that might be available. Like I said, they give away tax dollars
Yeah, you're right.
left and right on other stuff. Might as well use it if it's available.
Put your hand out.
Actually, the company may have some idea on that. If you ask them, they'll know where funding could be had.
Any more? Okay. Then we will move on to the City Hall office hours.
Yeah, so this is something that, discussing here internally and kind of the way things operate, and what we have going on. We're looking, they're asking, to change our hours here at City Hall, to work Monday through Thursday from 7:30 AM to 4:30 PM here at City Hall, and Fridays from 7:30, to noon. So right now, that's 40.5 hours that we would be here at City Hall. I'm here usually by 6:30 in the morning and usually here till 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Friday afternoons, we just do not have a lot of activity here at City Hall. I know this has been discussed in the past. One of the things that was brought up is if there's a City Hall emergency, or a city emergency, I feel like we have a pretty good handle on the appropriate people, who to get a hold of, who to call. So that is one of the requests that we have. Now, there's some dates that we don't have control over here in the city. Time before election periods where we have to stay open till 5 PM on Fridays for collecting people's nomination papers. That's, the state sets that. Those days we would stay open till 5 o'clock, those Fridays. The tax collection on Fridays is our busiest time of the year at City Hall. That's always an issue. We would stay open on Fridays for those dates that we would still collect taxes.
Would that become overtime then?
No, because we don't collect overtime here at City Hall.
Okay.
We're salaried employees. So it would not be an overtime issue with even the extra half hour every week.
Okay.
So,
Are we busy at 7:30?
Monday through Thursday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we'd open 7:30 in the morning. And right now, our current hours are Monday through Friday from 8 AM to 4 PM.
But are we busy at 7:30? Is it worth, it seems like that's early,
Well,
actually.
we're looking for trying to give some more time before hours or after hours. 7:30 in the morning, a lot of people that are here at City Hall seem to be here looking for a police officer
Or building inspector.
or a building inspector. They want to get in here and get out of here prior to going and starting their day, instead of waiting till 8 o'clock.
Cats, dogs.
Several years ago, and Jamie was here as an employee, I sat down with them and asked them if they wanted to change the hours. And what we talked about was one person would always be here till closing. So you would come in a little bit later, or you came in, you know, so you always had Friday afternoons off. We talked about it. And evidently, they didn't want to do that time, so we nixed it. Because there was concern about City Hall not being open till 4 o'clock on a Friday. My question now is, what does the Public Works, what are their hours in the summer?
They work from 6 AM to 3 PM, and on Fridays, that's Monday through Thursday, and they work on Fridays from 6 AM to noon.
As long as you're looking at hours, why don't we look at 4/10s for the Public Works and give them Friday off altogether, like the county does? I would like that to be looked at from your office, as long as you're looking at hours. Now, the utility, they're done at 11, right?
They are done, the utilities work 7 AM to 4:30 PM, and Fridays from 7 to 11.
Till 11, which, why 7 to 11? Why don't you just take Friday off? Somebody talked to me about this and says, well, why don't you look at just doing 4/10s and give them Friday off altogether? Is that something that's a possibility to talk about, as long as you're talking about hours?
The only reason it never got changed was there was a purpose for it prior than mapped. And we needed somebody in the vicinity at the time to answer questions, because on Fridays, there were so many that were calling in because there was never an answer back from the main guy during the week. So then on weekend, Fridays, people got off on Fridays, so they'd go to the shop. Well, then it was closed, so they never got their answer ever. But now it's changed so much where, to get a hold of Casey or get a hold of somebody in town is not like it was before.
Well,
Now
and-
at least you can.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Lee, but if you're gonna get a hold of something, you're not getting a hold of the employee, you're getting a hold of a manager.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
I would like to, I just wanna mention one thing. Casey and the street shop guys are probably gonna be very disappointed, but I'll be honest, that little bit of time, even Friday mornings, we still have stuff to go out when there's events and festivals going on.
Right.
There's still getting the beach cleaned up and ready to go for the weekend, so it looks nice for the weekend.
It's kind of a catch-up day for the sweepers.
There is, and in winter time, we flex our hours a lot. If we're plowing snow Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that 4 hours, maybe they're gone Thursday at 2 o'clock and they're done for the week already. And we do it, flex those hours year round.
Well, you can rotate your beach cleaning. One guy can start a little bit later, and then what does it take, 2 hours for the beach? Doesn't take all morning, right?
Once we get it cleaned up, we
Yeah.
always spend a little more time at it in spring, but once we get into the swing of the season, hour and a half.
I just think it's food for thought, and that's fine. If guys don't wanna do it, I could care less, but I still question whether or not City Hall isn't open till 4
Is
o'clock on
is
Friday.
this being proposed as annual or just summer hours?
This
or
would be
permanent?
annual,
Just
year-round.
Permanent? Okay.
Year round.
I think the 4:30 part is the big benefit, because a lot of people get off of work 3:30, 4 o'clock in Sturgeon Bay. And they have time then to get here for their quick answer, because once you're in the door, you're not getting kicked out.
Right.
I like City Hall being available to the people as much as possible.
Correct.
And that does not mean closing down in an afternoon or something like that, I'm sorry, but I think we should be open to our public at least 5 days a week. If it was me, I'd make it 5 days a week and Saturday morning, to make sure that everybody had a chance to come in and do whatever they wanted to do, and you guys rotate your schedule so that somebody starts at 10 and somebody starts at 7:30, and whatever you need to get those hours in and cover that area. That's just my feelings.
I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with it at all. I think a lot of businesses and companies are doing it anyway, and Friday's dead. I understand the hesitancy, so for that, I would say, again, no decision that we make is etched in stone. Try it. Change the hours. Do it for the summertime. See how many people complain. And if it's a huge issue, you can always go back, but I don't think it's gonna become one. That's my opinion.
Time will tell, I guess.
I don't know, it's
What's your feeling?
up to you guys.
I agree with Scott. Let's try it. See if,
Yeah, I
if
wouldn't
there's
etch
a
it
lot
in
of,
stone.
I don't have
It
a
can be
problem
an-
about that.
It can be a 90-day trial or,
Well,
I think we can review it as maybe part of the budget conversation.
sure.
If before that, there's a whole bunch of, we will never be able to please. There's always gonna be somebody that, to what John said, it only works at 11 o'clock on Saturday for me to come to City Hall, or it only works at 6:30 in the evening, or, 5:30 in the morning, or, I would like to say I will be willing to make myself available, to meet anybody at, what time is convenient for them if there's a City Hall issue.
It's no different than being an older. We get contacted by people, we're available.
Yeah.
It's not
I
like we're
think the
shutting off
half
the
hour in the
phones.
morning and at night is gonna, a lot of people on the way, they can stop quick in the morning and register their, or license their dog or cat quick before they head to work, or.
I think most of you have gotten emails from me
Yeah.
before hours and after hours
And on Sunday.
and on Sunday. But
So,
if I'm here, I'm gonna open the door. I mean, not on a Sunday, but if I'm here, I'm gonna open the door. If somebody calls me at 3:30 and says I can't get there till 4:15, you better believe that I'm still here at 4:15 waiting for them.
Well, plus all the meetings and everything, I mean, yeah, but
Right,
this
we're
is
not
just
just at
office
40
hours,
hours a week.
not how many hours dependent on what you're actually working. Obviously, it's quite a bit more, but yeah, I'd say try it, do it. But it's up to you. It's up to everyone to get a vote
I
on
mean,
it.
if it's dead on a Friday, it's the point you make, it's like where you, if you have a business or a market or anything, it's like if you were open just this much longer, you know, I would capture, if I was open 24/7, I'd capture everybody theoretically. If it's not busy, if it's exceedingly dead in the afternoon, especially on Fridays, it doesn't make any sense. You can still get the productivity, and like you said, you're all accommodating as necessary. So I don't, it's not an unreasonable ask, and I think that it's worth a shot.
I would be looking for a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion to change the office hours.
Starting June 3rd, actually, that Monday, we would ask.
Are we gonna do it on a trial, or do we just run it
I
and see what
I think
happens?
that, like Wayne said, we don't etch it in stone. I think if we just continue on these hours, and if we have a bunch of issues, we put it back on the agenda and we discuss it.
Fair enough. Motion made by Casey,
I'll second.
Scott
Any other
second.
discussion? You guys good?
Really?
Do you want a roll call vote on that?
It's up to you.
Doesn't
Sure.
have to be.
Well,
But
we'll
it's
just
up to
do it
you.
then, okay.
Sure?
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes. One opposed by John. Motion carries. The youth club closure request. Matt or Casey?
You wanna
Sure.
start? Go ahead.
So I remember last summer, or last year, it was kind of brought up to look at closing youth club for the summer months. We didn't have a whole lot of records on attendance and what it was. So we kind of looked it over. We were gonna talk about our public works meeting this month, but we ended up not having one. They asked me to gather some information, so I did. Attendance wise, this would literally just be for June, July, and August. We'd still be open for events or if people want to rent it, that wouldn't change. But it'd just be more of the Friday and Saturday nights. It's kind of because of two things. One is because the attendance is just low. And then the other thing is a lot of the people that work for us are high schoolers and they tend not to want to spend their Friday and Saturday nights working, so it's hard to find somebody. Just kind of going over some numbers. June of last summer, we averaged, if you take out the high number and the low number, we averaged 12 kids a night average. Our highest was 20 and our lowest was 11. And if you look at the cost of that, just for employees for the month, we had roughly $900 in expenses for just wages. That's not including buying concessions. And we actually, in June, still came out ahead in that aspect, where we were ahead like $122. Then you look into July, and we averaged 12 kids. Our lowest was 6, and our highest was 26. Looking at historical weather data, like in June we had 20, in July we had 26, and even the next highest at 18. Those are the 3 highest days we had all summer. Looking at historical weather data, it was raining, windy, kind of cooler, which makes sense. So basically, if you look at the month of July, in wages alone, we had roughly $900, and we only brought in like $500. So even without concessions, we're kind of upside down there. And then August, we had a low of 6, high of 13, and an average of 9 kids. So we have to have at least 2 employees every night. So that's how I came up with those numbers. Because last year in July and August and September, we dropped down to 2 employees. But yeah, so and we were also closed the week of Shanty Days and the week of the Soar on the Shore. And just looking into 2024, we'd be closed quite a few more days just because of the way holidays fall. Or not quite a few more, but a few more days because of the way holidays fall. But what we'd be looking for is just, I guess, the request is to not be open on Fridays and Saturdays for June, July, and August. based off of just how the numbers kind of play out.
We're never open on Sunday, are we?
No.
So
Unless
the
it-
card
unless for a
players and
private
stuff aren't
event.
gonna be all.
Card players, they'd still be able to come there, pool players, we'd rent it out,
Okay.
during the day, we could even rent it out at night compared to, usually we're kicking them out by 5:30 or so, but if they wanna stay there longer, we can do that. But it's just more or less, so it's not open,
Fridays.
um,
And it Did the
From 6:30
committee, they didn't talk about this, huh?
we kind of put out a poll to them and kind of went across the numbers, and their general consensus was that if the numbers aren't making sense and kind of come out at least even, and we're losing as much as we are without concessions, then to look at closing or try closing for the months and see what happens.
So what you're saying is we wouldn't have a youth club for the whole summer when they're out of school and have nothing else to do?
Well, it's either they cause trouble at the youth club or they cause trouble somewhere else.
Well, at least at the youth club, we got 2 employees that kind of
That is correct.
police the situation when they cause trouble somewhere
Now,
else.
our other youth programs though will still continue
Yes.
to go on during the week. So we do have like our, over at Perry Field.
The month of July, we'll have Monday through Thursday, it's the Summer Parks program. We'll have T-ball in July, on Wednesday nights. So yeah, those are really the programs that we have.
What
But a
were
lot of
the
it comes
hours?
down, I think, is there's just so much stuff now with youth sports that
What were the
Kids are
hours
wrong.
on Friday and Saturday nights?
6:30 to 10.
6:30 to 10?
It doesn't change throughout the year.
I mean, it's society in general. It's not necessarily anybody's fault. I mean, it used to be open Monday through Sunday,
Yeah,
every night of the week, and then also Saturday and Sunday afternoons, and it was full every single night and every single afternoon. I mean, it's just, to your point, it's not the same
It's
anymore.
totally different.
It was closed in the summer when we were coming up though. Turned out fine, though, John.
Was it?
Yeah, it was, when we were youth.
That's
I mean,
questionable. That's
yeah.
questionable.
Maybe if it would have been open, Casey.
Yeah, who knows how high it could have ascended.
Pre-COVID, they were closed in the summer.
70-some
They,
years ago.
youth
almost.
closed in the summer because you had the youth parks program,
Was it
and then
closed?
you opened back up after school started. You followed the school year.
I don't remember that long ago.
When school was out, you either went to the park and did stuff, or that was it. The youth club, other than Saturday nights, later, they had bands and that, but.
You know, not that nobody goes to the youth club to play, but our softball program in Algoma here, and I don't know if you call it Little League or Hardball program, if anybody goes up to Peterson Park, and they have these traveling tournament teams, and a lot of these kids are gone on the weekends playing in a tournament nonstop, which is great,
Yeah.
Baseball, football.
Depends on who you ask.
Well,
Yeah.
there's quite the expense to that too, I understand that, but.
I mean, it'd never be an intention to extend it past the summer months, because you get into September, it's still kind of slow, but once the weather starts to turn, we
Yeah.
average well over 20 kids a night, so it's definitely providing a good service that's benefiting a larger amount of kids.
What is the costs for renting it out, like on the weekends or? Like,
So what we do is it's $50 for the first hour and $10 for every hour after that.
Okay.
And I think being closed on the weekends would open that up, more opportunities to
You
have
have people,
graduation parties, to
Private
have that
parties.
kind of stuff, the private parties there. Which we traditionally don't allow,
Downstairs, it's all upstairs, isn't it, when you rent
Down-
it?
no,
We
you
rent
can rent
downstairs.
both.
We,
Can you
we
rent
rent the
it?
downstairs, we just don't rent the downstairs on Fridays and Saturdays because it's open for the kids.
Well, I didn't know you rented the
The youth club.
downstairs.
Yeah.
It's very popular.
You get the whole
Yeah.
gymnasium. It's the best place to have a kid's birthday party, I can tell you that.
It is.
I would say during the winter months, there's something going on there on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, probably 3 out of 4 weeks a month.
Okay.
And you're saying there were like 20 children there at it. Is that for the whole evening, or does
That's, so
10
what we have
come
is a
and then
sign.
10 go, and then 10 more come, and 10 more go, and 10 more come, 10 more go, and,
So-
but you got 20 people at a time in there?
So we have a sign-in sheet, so when they come in the door, they get the initial off that they were there. Once they leave though, they're not supposed to be allowed to come back. So if they get there at 6, their mom drops them off at 6:30, they leave at 7:30 to go get ice cream at A&W, they're not allowed to come back in the door. So, like when we had 6 kids, you might have had 4 kids there for a couple hours, 2 kids there for another couple hours. So
It's the total for the whole
that's
entire
a total
night.
for the whole night.
Yeah, it's,
I know when I do the back gate for Shandy Days, those kids are They're in, they're out, they're in, they're out, they're in, they're out. They must go by Judy and I in the 2 hours that we're on there 5 times or 6 times. Every kid that's there. They're in, they're out, they're in, they're out.
He's right by the porta potty.
That's why I was wondering about the youth club, if they're in and out or.
For the safety of all the kids there, we don't want them to leave and then come back, because they leave and then all of a sudden mom or dad calls and they're not there, well then all of a sudden they are there. It just kinda,
Okay.
I would make a recommendation to change it or close it June, July, August as proposed. But a caveat to that, I'd also, I don't know how you promote it or advertise it, but people can also rent it now
yeah.
in the later evening. I mean, am I
Yeah.
correct in saying that?
We won't, cause normally it was, it gets to be 5:30, you gotta start cleaning up.
Correct.
Now, if you wanna rent it till
You could do a
10
graduation
o'clock at
party.
night, you
Yeah.
can.
I like that idea, Scott. I think that's a great idea. I don't have a problem with that, but I just want that you're not putting us in a way, because if we can't staff it, because we put staff down there for even a private event.
Correct.
So if we would run into an issue that somebody wants to rent it on Shanny Days weekend and we can't have us,
Yeah.
that, just so everybody's clear
Staff
on
needs to
that.
be available, and
Okay.
again, I don't
Kinda
need,
sounds
I'm
though
in
like
favor
we're
of
giving
that.
up
I
the
don't need
kids'
that-
time for
yeah.
the,
I don't need that doesn't need to necessarily be part of
Yeah.
the motion. I'm just saying, yes, we should close it June, July, August, but if there was a way that we could let the public know,
sure.
hey, you
And
know,
availability of.
it's
renting
gonna be
the place
available
and then-
more.
Yeah.
Do we have to close both nights?
I was looking at averages and it's really kind of the same between Fridays and Saturdays. There's not a better night than the other. And literally, I looked at almost every one of these days on weather, and it really was based off of weather. If it was kind of crummy outside, you had more kids. If it was nice outside, you didn't really have kids.
No, they were there, but they didn't come in.
That could be,
They're all outside.
very well could be.
Well, it's the cars, they're all hanging around there.
I just wonder if you took the 20 kids from Saturday, if you're only open on Friday, with the 20 kids from Saturday come on Friday with those 20, and then you'd have 40. That's,
It's the same 20 kids.
Yeah.
think so.
I mean, you look
I
at now,
bet you if you
there's-
look at the records, it's the same kids that are.
if I look at any month and like even now, I bet you there's 10 kids that are there every Friday and Saturday
Yeah.
during the winter months. Same 10 kids, and then there's always, another 10, 15 at least. But
Okey-dokey.
I mean, Casey turned out all right. I don't remember it not being open.
Well, see, that's.
You must be talking about Casey Gressel.
Now, if we go back when I was going down there,
Yeah.
it was open all the time.
Was that building even there?
Oh, yes, there was big time entertainment and stuff, and dances. and-
That's what I mean.
You got a motion on the floor?
Do you have the motion? That's
I
what I
have
was
a
gonna ask
motion by
you.
Scott to close the youth club for the summer hours of
We're
June, July, and
Looking for a
August,
second.
As recommended.
as recommended.
Second.
Second by Mitch.
Made Mitch, yes. I guess we'll do a roll call on that for John's sake.
Swedberg,
Yes.
Dashlet,
No.
Johnson,
Yes.
Meverden,
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Boer,
Yes.
Ortlieb.
no.
Motion carries. Then the grant disbursement request. Who wants that one?
Well, it's pretty
Casey?
self-explanatory.
Yeah, Concert in the Parks, Rosemary came requesting it. It's a budget line that we put every year. The main difference this year is that they have added an 8th week versus the 7th. A little bit more cost, but it's $2,000 towards the bands and the sound support. And there's a plethora of other sponsors that contribute. Yeah.
It's an annual thing. I mean, it's good for the community. I'll make the motion that we
Second.
disperse
Motion
the
by Wayne,
$2,000.
second by Scott. Roll call again, I guess.
Meverden,
Yes.
Ortlieb,
Yes.
Dashlet, Swedberg,
Yes.
Boer,
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
All right, any agenda items for next meeting? Get to Aaron, Matt, or myself. Next meeting date will be Tuesday, June 18th at,
Excuse me, Mayor.
oh,
I
sorry.
would like to ask the mayor and the common council, or the finance and personnel, if we could move next month's meeting from Tuesday, June 18th to Monday, June 17th at 5 PM. I know there's the library meeting at 4 p.m. and CDC meets on Mondays. But there is a pretty big significant group of us that all golf in the East Shore golf outing. That's business here in Algoma. I feel like it's a pretty good thing. I know there's a couple of council members, and then police chief, fire chief, myself, Casey Gressel, and then some committee members that won't be able to attend. So if that'd be okay with everybody, to change it from the 18th to Monday, the 17th at 5 p.m.
That would be awesome. I wouldn't be able to go. I was gonna say I couldn't be here on the 18th either.
Yeah.
Works out.
Any conflicts? You don't need a motion, correct?
No.
Sounds like June 17th at 5
5.
p.m.
Yes.
And if the library board meeting is still going on and the CDC meeting is still going on, we'll wait to start until both of those meetings adjourn.
Little tailgate out in the parking lot.
We should do that once. We should tailgate.
Get a lot more time out there.
Is there a need to go into closed session?
Yes, we will go in the closed session.
Then I will make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public property, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Sale of city-owned property.
Second.
Motion by Wayne, second by Midge. All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll
Oh,
call.
sorry.
He's not here. Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Midge,
Yes.
Casey,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.